A dataset is a collection of data which is the base and the very first step towards building a machine learning application. Therefore, datasets are one of the main parts involved in the process of building a machine learning model. Besides, they are available in various formats as well. Before we start with any algorithm, we need to have a proper understanding of the data. The machine learning datasets basically step in to aid the research processes. Most of the datasets are homogeneous in nature and are used to train and evaluate a model, thereby playing a very vital role in the whole process. If our dataset is structured, less noisy, and properly cleaned, then our model will give good accuracy upon evaluation. If datasets intrigue you enough, then we are here to quench your curiosity. In this session, you will learn about the top 25 free datasets which are easily available to train your machine learning algorithm. Stay tuned for some newfound knowledge coming your way.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video, any queries or suggestions, and I will also respond to your comments.
Now, moving to the agenda, first we'll be knowing what is dataset. So as I already told you that dataset is a collection of data, and using dataset you can analyze and visualize data, and it is the first and basic step to build a machine learning applications. So in this tutorial we will be discussing top 25 free datasets that are easily available. So we will start with iris dataset, which is used to classify iris flowers among its 3 species. Next we are having Boston dataset, which contains the housing values, and after that we are having a very popular dataset, that is Titanic dataset, right? So basically Titanic dataset gives the information on the fate of passengers. Next we are having wine quality dataset. So using this wine quality dataset we can make a model which can predict the quality of the wine. So after wine quality dataset we are having IMDb review dataset, tooth growth, Cushing's, and then we are having car seats dataset, which contains the sales information of child car seats. Then we are having spam SMS classifier dataset. So basically using this dataset you can create a model which will predict spam messages. Similarly for the spam mails dataset, you can create a model using spam mails dataset which will predict spam mails. Next we are having YouTube dataset. So YouTube dataset gives the information about the YouTube video. So as I told you that we will be discussing about 25 dataset. So we are also having Wikipedia dataset, which contains 1.9 billion words. Then we are having Cipher 10, Sentiment 140, Facial Image dataset, MSleep dataset, and then Free Spoken Digit dataset along with Diamond, Beavers, and then Cars 93 dataset. So Cars 93 dataset gives the information about 93 cars. Then we are having Pima Indian Diabetes dataset. So using this dataset we can predict the diabetes, and mainly this dataset was used for the female patients. Next we are having Breast Cancer Wisconsin dataset, and then we are having MNS dataset, and after that we are having ImageNet dataset. So now talking about the ImageNet dataset, it's a very large dataset which is used for object detection, segmentation, and it's a captioning dataset. So this is the basic idea about dataset. We will discuss each dataset in detail. So now let's start with dataset. So what is dataset? Dataset is basically a collection of data. So datasets are available in different formats such as .csv, .txt, and many more. So now after understanding what is dataset, the next question that arises in mind, that why do we need dataset? So dataset are used to train and evaluate our model, as it plays a very vital role in the whole process. Let's take an example. So if you want to build any machine learning application, then dataset is the first step to build a machine learning application. Also, if you want to start with any algorithm, then you must have a proper understanding of the data. So moving further, if you want your model to give good accuracy, then your dataset must be structured, less noisy, as well as properly cleaned. So this is the basic idea about the dataset. So let's start with top 25 datasets which are easily available online to train your machine learning algorithm. So we will start with first iris flower dataset. So what is iris flower dataset?
This dataset is usually built for beginners who just started learning machine learning techniques and algorithms. So by using this dataset, you can start building a simple project in machine learning algorithms. Also, this dataset is small in size, and here data pre-processing is not required. So what is data pre-processing? So data pre-processing is a process in which raw data is transformed into an understandable format. But here in Iris Flower dataset, you don't have to transform raw data into an understandable format, right? Now, coming further, this dataset contains of different types of iris flowers. The first one is Setosa, then versicolor and virginica. So here you can see that I'm having the images of Setosa, versicolor and virginica. Now, after understanding what is iris flower dataset, let's see the features of it. So as we know that this is an iris flower dataset, so we are having four attributes starting from sepal length, then its width, then we are having petal length as well as petal width. So as I told you that this dataset consists of three classes. The first one is the virginica, setosa and versicolor. So each class of this dataset contains 50 instances. That means virginica is having 50 instances, setosa and versicolor are also having 50 instances. Next, the attributes in this data are real. So when we will use this dataset, so this dataset is used for data mining, classification and clustering examples and to test algorithms. So now after understanding what is iris flower dataset and its feature, now what's the aim of this dataset? So the aim of this iris flower dataset is to classify iris flowers among these three species from sepal and petal length and width measurements. So this is the basic idea about iris flower dataset. So the next dataset we are having is the Boston dataset. So Boston dataset is used to predict the housing values depending upon the few attributes, right? Also, this dataset is obtained from the information which is collected by the US Census Service. So as I told you that it mainly focuses on the housing values. So let's see the features of this dataset. So this dataset contains 506 rows and 14 columns, or you can say that 14 attributes. Now let's see description of some attributes here. Here I have written CRIM. So CRIM means basically per capita crime rate by town. Then I'm having ZN. So it's a proportion of residential land zoned for lots over 25,000 square feet. Next I am having Indus. So it is a proportion of non-retail business acres per town. So here you can see that these are the some attributes. Total we are having 14 attributes in this. And now talking about some more features of this dataset. So this dataset are in the CSV format. Also machine learning regression problem can be applied in this dataset. So this is the basic idea about the Boston dataset. So the next dataset we are having is the Titanic dataset. So as we know that this is a very popular dataset based on the sinking of the Titanic. So basically this dataset provides information on the fate of the passengers on the fatal maiden voyage of the ocean liner Titanic. So what happens in this dataset? This dataset summarizes the economic status, sex, age and survival. Now let's see the features of this dataset. So now coming to the feature, let's see the format of this Titanic dataset. So basically we are having four attributes here starting from class, sex, age and survived. So this dataset contains actual age of half of the passengers. Also it describes the survival status of the individual passengers on the Titanic. So this is the basic idea about the Titanic dataset. So the next dataset we are having is red wine quality dataset. So red wine quality dataset is very popular and it is used for the machine learning as well as deep learning. So this dataset is beginner friendly and as I told you, you can apply it in machine learning algorithm also. So now what's the use of this dataset? Basically using this dataset, you can train your model and you can predict the wine quality. Now after understanding what is red wine quality dataset, now let's see its features. Now coming to the features, as I already told you that this is a very popular data set and it is used in machine learning algorithm and it is also used to predict wine quality, right? So in this data set, we are having two types of variables, basically input and output variables. So here in input variables, we are having fixed acidity, volatile acidity, citric acid, residual sugar, and so on. Also, now coming to the output variable, we are having quality. Along with that, we are having here 12 columns or you can say that 12 attributes present in this data set.
Now, moving ahead, if you are talking about the number of rows, or you can say that number of records, here we are having 4,898, right? Also, classification and regression, both approaches of machine learning can be used by red wine quality dataset. So this is the basic idea about the red wine quality dataset. So now let's see what is IMDb review dataset. So IMDb review dataset contains a large movie review dataset. So as we know that analyzing sentiment is one of the most popular application in natural language processing, that is NLP. So if you want to build a model on sentimental analysis, then we are taking the help of your IMDb review dataset. So this dataset contains 25,000 highly polar moving reviews, which may be good or bad. So as I told you that IMDb dataset is used for sentimental analysis using machine learning as well as deep learning algorithm. And also this dataset was prepared by Stanford researchers in 2011. So moving ahead, this data comes with 50-50 split for testing as well as training purpose. And also the size of this dataset is 80 MB, and using this dataset you can achieve around 88% of accuracy. So now after knowing what is IMDb review dataset, now let's understand its features. So as I told you that IMDb dataset is one of the best dataset which helps understand and learn the machine learning techniques and deep learning methods on real world data. So here we are having 25,000 highly polar movie review for training and 25,000 for testing. Now you might have a question that why we are using this dataset. So basically we are using this dataset to determine whether the reviews are positive or negative in a model. So this is all about IMDb review dataset. So the next dataset is tooth growth dataset. So what is tooth growth dataset? Basically here we are seeing the length of odontoblast. So what is odontoblast here? Odontoblast is a cell which is responsible for tooth growth. So here we will see the length of odontoblast in 60 guinea pigs. Now what will happen here? Here each animal will receive one of the three dose levels. So here we are having three dose levels, that is 0.5, 1 and 2 milligram of vitamin C. So what we'll be doing here, we will give one of the three dose by giving one of the two delivery methods. So here we are having two delivery method. The first one through orange juice and another one through ascorbic acid. So basically ascorbic acid is a form of vitamin C, right? So now let's see the features. So this is a data set which contains 60 observations on three variables. So basically three attributes, and we are having 60 rows. So here we are having numeric tooth length, and as I told you about the supplement type. So in supplement type, we are having orange juice or ascorbic acid, which was a form of vitamin C. So that's why I have written here vitamin C. So I have told you about the three doses, right? 0.5, 1 and 2 milligram, right? So here you can see that it's written there numeric dose in milligram per day. Now what we will obtain using this data set. So here we can see the effect in tooth length in guinea pigs if the vitamin C supplementation is done with the either orange juice or ascorbic acid. So this is the basic idea about the tooth growth data set. So the next data set that we are having is Cushing's data set. Coming to the Cushing's data set, here Cushing's syndrome is a hypertensive disorder associated with the oversecretion of cortisol by the adrenal gland. Here the observations are urinary excretion rates of two steroid metabolites. Now this is sounding little bit complex. Now let's understand with its features. So basically it's a data set which consists of three attributes and 27 rows, or you can say that three columns and 27 records. So now let's understand the description about each attributes, right? So the first attribute that we are having is tetrahydrocortisone. So here tetrahydrocortisone, it represents urinary excretion rate, right? Now coming to pregnantrial, it represents urinary excretion rate. And last we are having type attribute, right? So in type attribute we are having underlying type of syndrome, that is we are having adenoma, bilateral hyperplasia and carcinoma, and U is for unknown. So now here you might have a question, okay, when to use this data set, right? So here in this data set, we can apply machine learning algorithms and we can predict a future diagnosis of Cushing's syndromes using structured clinical data. So this is the basic idea about the Cushing's syndrome. So the next data set we are having is car seats data set. So what is car seats data set? So basically this is a simulated data set containing sales of child car seats at 400 different stores. So this dataset consists of 400 observations on following 11 attributes. So now let's see its features. Now, as I told you that this dataset consists of 11 attributes, or you can say 11 columns and 400 rows or records. So let's see the description of some attributes. So here we are having sales. So here this means unit sales at each location. Then we are having competitor price. That is the price charged by the competitor at each location. Moving ahead, we are having income. That means community income level. Then we are having advertising. That means local advertising budget for company at each location. Then we are having population. This is the population size in the region. Then price. What price company charges for car seats at each site. Then we are having selling location. So it is a factor with levels bad, good and medium, indicating the quality of the selling location for the car seats at each site. Next, we are having age. So we'll see the average age of the local population. So here you have seen some description of some attribute. Now, why we are using this data set and what's the aim of this data set? So using this data set, we can build a model for tracking sales information for car seats. So this is the basic idea about the car seats data set. So let's start with spam SMS classifier dataset. So in today's world, finding spam messages are one of the most important part. So the data scientists come with their own idea where you have to build your own model using dataset, and the model will predict the spam messages. Now, coming to the spam SMS classifier dataset, this is a dataset which will help you to train your model to predict spam messages. So here we will use machine learning classification algorithm to build the model. And this dataset is also beginner friendly and easy to understand as well. Now, after understanding what is spam SMS classifier dataset, now let's understand its features. Now, this dataset has 5,574 messages and the dataset is written in English, and each line of this dataset contains one message. Now, moving further, this dataset is in the CSV format. So let's suppose if you want to find the top words, whether this is spam or not, then you can do it through the data analysis. So we will apply data analysis in this dataset and we can find the top words that are used in spam. So this is a basic idea about spam SMS classifier dataset. So now let's understand about the spam mails dataset. So in today's world, finding spam mails are also very important. So again, the data scientist came with an idea where you have to build your own model using dataset, and that model will predict spam mail. Now, spam mails dataset is a dataset that will help you to train your model to predict spam mail. Also here, machine learning classification algorithm can be used to build your model, and this dataset is also a beginner friendly and it is easy to understand as well. So this is the basic idea about spam mails dataset. Now let's understand its features. Now coming to its features, this dataset is a collection of 425 spam messages which was manually extracted from the GrumbleText website. So what will happen in this dataset? You need to split your data as it doesn't come with train and test division. So most parts of the data sets are not spam here, but that is about almost 86%. Now, you might have a question then how to classify whether the mail is spam or not. So you can use text processing, text sequencing and model selection in dataset to find out whether the mail is spam or not. So this is a dataset which is freely available and easy to understand as well. So this is the basic idea about spam mails dataset. So the next dataset we are having is YouTube dataset. So YouTube dataset contains the information about the YouTube video. Also, using a machine learning algorithm, it helps to make a video classification model. So here the name of the dataset is YouTube 8M. As I told you that it is a video dataset which consists of millions of YouTube video IDs. This dataset has improved quality of annotations and machine generated labels. This dataset contains 6.1 million URLs labeled with a vocabulary of more than 3,800 visual entities, and also it helps to learn machine learning as well as computer vision part also. So this is the basic idea about YouTube dataset. Now let's understand its features. So as I already told you that this dataset has a large scale label dataset which is having a high quality machine generated annotations, right? And also the vocabulary of the dataset is available in the CSV format, and the dataset videos are sampled uniformly. Now moving further, Here, each video in YouTube dataset is associated with at least one entity from the target vocabulary. Now, you might have a question then, when we can use YouTube dataset and what's the use of this dataset? So basically, using this dataset, you can analyze a factor such as how popular a YouTube video will be. So this is the basic idea about the YouTube dataset. So the next dataset we are having is the Wikipedia corpus. Now, coming to the Wikipedia corpus, it consists of Wikipedia data only, and along with that, it contains almost 1.9 billion words from more than 4 million articles. And this is a very powerful data set as you can search it through words, phrase, or even by paragraph itself. Moving further, this dataset is basically used for NLP, that is natural language processing purpose, and the size of this dataset is around 20 MB. So now, after understanding what is the Wikipedia corpus, now let's see its features. So now, coming to the features, as I already told you that this dataset has a large scale and it can be used for machine learning as well as natural language processing purpose. Right? Moving ahead, as the dataset is big in nature, you can train your model perfectly. So this dataset contains 1.9 billion words, as I already told you, and it has 4.4 million articles. So this is the basic idea about the Wikipedia corpus. So the next dataset we are having is CIFAR-10. So CIFAR stands for Canadian Institute for Advanced Research. Now, this dataset is an image classification dataset which consists of various object images. So here in this dataset, it consists of 60,000 images for 10 different classes. Let me give you few classes name. So here we are having classes like aeroplanes, cars, dogs, cats, and rest others. So basically each class contains 6,000 images because total we are having 60,000 images, right? And also with the help of this dataset, we can perform many operations in machine learning and deep learning as well. So this dataset is one of the most commonly used dataset for machine learning research. So as I told you that this dataset contains 60,000 color images, which is having a resolution of 32 into 32, which is a low resolution. And also it is a beginner friendly dataset. Now coming to the last point, CIFAR-10 is used for computer recognizing algorithm in deep learning to train computer how to recognize the object. So this is the basic idea about CIFAR-10. Now let's understand its features. So now coming to the feature, as I already told you that this is one of the best dataset which helps you to understand and learn the machine learning techniques as well as object detection methods in deep learning on real world data. Moving ahead, this dataset is also divided into two parts. The first one is the training and the another one is the testing. So using this dataset, you don't need to split the data for training and evaluation part, but all you have to do is build your model to train your data and evaluate your model using test data. Now you might have a question, okay, when shall I use this data or what's the aim of this data? So I will give you an example. You can develop a CNN, that is convolutional neural network, from scratch for CIFAR-10 photo classification. So this is the basic idea about CIFAR-10. So the next dataset we are having is Sentiment 140. So Sentiment 140 dataset is built on Twitter data. So as we know that analyzing sentiment is one of the most popular application in natural language processing, and to build a model on sentimental analysis, we can use the dataset of Sentiment 140. So Sentiment 140 dataset is a text processing data. Also, this dataset can be used to make models in natural language processing, and it is a beginner friendly dataset. Now, after understanding what is Sentiment 140 dataset, let's see its features. So coming to the features of Sentiment 142, it contains of 6 columns, or you can say 6 attributes, starting from polarity of the tweet, ID of the tweet, date of the tweet, the query, username of the tweeter, and text of the tweet. Now this dataset contains 1.6 million tweets that are extracted by using Twitter API. So now talking about the polarity of the tweet, so these tweets are annotated like 0 is equal to negative, 2 is equal to neutral, and 4 is equal to positive. So these annotations are used to detect the sentiment of the particular tweet. Now moving ahead, you might have a question then, what's the aim of using this dataset? So using this dataset, you can analyze responses from the user to different products, brands, and topics through user tweets on the Twitter, which is a social media platform. So this is the basic idea about the Sentiment 140 dataset. So the next dataset we are having is facial image dataset. So this dataset is based on face images for male and female both. So using this dataset, machine learning and deep learning can be performed to detect gender and emotion. Now, along with that, it has a variation of data like variation of background and scale and variation of expressions. So this is the basic idea about facial image dataset. Now, let's see the features of it. So now, coming to the features of this dataset contains total of 7,900 images in which total 395 individuals are there and each of them has 20 images. Along with that, this dataset has 4 directories and also you can download the dataset according to your system requirement and demand. All the versions of data have a zipped version here and the resolution of the images are 180 into 200 pixel that is stored in 24-bit RGB or JPEG format. Now, you might have a question then, when should I use this dataset? It's simple. You can use this dataset to train a model and find whether the image is matching or not. So this is the basic idea about facial image dataset. Now, moving forward, the next dataset we are having is MSleep dataset. So, coming to MSleep dataset, this is an updated and expanded version of Mammal Sleep dataset. And this dataset contains 83 rows or records and 11 attributes. So now let's jump into the features of this dataset. So as I told you that this dataset contains 11 columns and 83 rows. So let's understand about each column or attribute. The first attribute is name. So here the name means the common name of the mammals. Next we are having vor, whether the mammal is carnivore, omnivore or herbivore. Next is the conservation or you can say order. So what's the conservation status of the animal? Next we are having sleep total. So it denotes the total amount of sleep in hours. And then we are having sleep underscore REM. This is a REM sleep in hours. Then we are having sleep cycle. So sleep cycle represent the length of sleep cycle in hours. So next we are having here awake. So here amount of time is spent awake in hours. Next we are having brain weight. So this is the brain weight in kilogram. Then we are having body weight. So it's the body weight in kilogram. Now, what you can accomplish using this data set. So while using this data set, we can visualize the data such as variations of sleeping time of different mammals. So along with the variation of sleeping type, you can also find different types of variations. So basically this is the idea about MSleep dataset. Moving next, we are having free spoken digit dataset. So coming to the free spoken digit dataset, it is a simple audio or speech data which consists of recording of spoken English digits. In simple terms, this dataset was created to solve the task of identifying spoken digit in audio. Moving ahead, the format of the file is WAV at 8 kHz. Also, all the recordings are trimmed to have near minimal silence at the beginning and ends. And the most important thing about this dataset is that it is an open dataset, so anyone can contribute to its repository. Also, it is expected to grow over time. So this is the basic idea about free spoken digit dataset. So now coming to the features, this dataset consists of 4 speakers and 2000 recordings. And as I already told you that it's an open source dataset, so anyone can contribute and it will grow over the time. And also it helps to solve digit pronunciation problem. So this is the basic idea about free spoken digit dataset. So let's start with diamond dataset. So this dataset contains the prices along with the attributes of almost 54,000 diamonds. So this is the basic idea about diamond dataset. Now let's see its features. So now coming to the features, let's see the description of some attributes. So here we are having price, here we are having carat, cut and color. So these are basically some attributes here. So in this dataset, price is in US dollar. Now coming to the carat, it's the weight of the diamond, and then cut. Here is the quality of the cut, then color, diamond color. Then moving ahead, we are having the attribute as clarity. So clarity is a measurement of how clear diamond is. Then we are having table as well as depth attribute too. So this is the basic idea about the diamond dataset. So the next dataset we are having is Beavers dataset. So now coming to the Beavers dataset, basically this dataset is a part of long study into body temperatures regulations in beavers. So what happens here? 4 adult female beavers were live trapped and had a temperature sensitive radio transmitter surgically implanted. So after that, readings were taken every 10 minutes. And also the place of the beaver was noted and her activity level was dichotomized by whether she was in the retreat or outside of it, since high intensity activities only occur outside of the retreat. Now this is the basic description about Beaver's dataset. Now let's see its features. Let's see some attributes in Beaver's dataset. So now coming to its attributes, we are having 4 attributes here, or you can say 4 columns. We are having here day, time, temperature, and activity. So basically here day represents the day number, time is in hour minute format, and temperature is in degree centigrade. Now coming to the activity, it represents the dichotomized activity indicator. So basically it indicates that the beaver is outside of the retreat and therefore engaged in high intensity activity. So this is the basic idea about the Beaver's dataset. So the next dataset we are having is the Cars 93 dataset. So as the name itself suggests, Cars 93. So this dataset contains information about 93 cars based on the sample of 93 model years. Also here the vehicles are small, mid-size and large type. So now after understanding what is Cars 93 dataset, let's jump into its features. So now coming to the features, this CAR 93 dataset contains 93 records or rows as well as 27 columns or attributes. So let's find below the sum of the attributes. So let's see some attributes in CARS 93 dataset. So here we are having the manufacturer, model, type, minimum price, then we are having airbag, we are having passenger, we are having length, we are having several attributes. So now let's see the description of some attributes. Manufacturer means manufacturer of the vehicle. So now coming to the model, what type of model the car is having. Next we are having type. So as I told you that we are having several types such as small, mid-size, large, right? Now moving ahead, we are having the minimum price. Then we are having the mid-range price also. So we are having several attributes. So basically this dataset provides a sufficient variety to illustrate a broad range of statistical techniques. So now you might have a question that what is the aim of this dataset and what we can achieve using this dataset. So using this dataset, you can find which is the cheapest car from each type. We are having several types here, right? Small, mid-size, large. So you can find which is the cheapest car, or you can also find which is the most expensive car. And also you can also find the car with the lowest fuel efficiency. So this is the basic idea about the CARS 93 dataset. So let's start with PIMA Indian Diabetes dataset. So as we know that diabetes is most common and dangerous disease. It has affected so many people in this world. So it is of 2 types, type 1 and type 2, and both are having different categories. So PIMA Indian Diabetes dataset is used to predict diabetes based on the certain diagnostic measurements. So particularly we can say that almost all patients are here female who are having the age at least 21 years old, and they are living near Phoenix, Arizona, and the woman was tested for diabetes according to the WHO criteria. Also, this data was collected by the US National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. So now, this is the basic idea about PIMA Indian Diabetes dataset. Now, let's jump into its features. So now, coming to the features of this dataset contains 768 rows and 9 columns, or you can say that 9 attributes. Also, this dataset is in the CSV format. So now let's see some attributes for this dataset. So we are having here pregnancies, that means number of pregnancies. Then we are having the glucose, that is the plasma glucose concentration in an oral glucose tolerance test. Then we are having BP, blood pressure. Then we are having skin thickness. After that we are having BMI. So BMI means body mass index. Next we are having the type, which is according to the WHO criteria. And after that we are having 2 more attributes, that is age and outcome. So total we are having here 9 attributes or 9 columns and 768 rows. So this is the basic idea about the PIMA Indian Diabetes dataset. So the next dataset we are having is the Breast Cancer Wisconsin Diagnostic Dataset. So now coming to Breast Cancer Wisconsin Diagnostic Dataset, it is one of the most popular dataset which is used for classification problems in machine learning. Also, this dataset is used to analyze breast cancer. Features for this dataset are computed by the digitized image of a fine needle aspirate of a breast mass. They describe the characteristics of the cell nuclei present in the image. So now, after understanding what is the Breast Cancer Wisconsin dataset, now let's see its features. So now, coming to the features of this dataset, here we are having 3 attributes. We are having ID, diagnosis, and 30 real valued input features. Also, in this dataset, for each cell nucleus, there are 10 real valued features, that is radius, texture, perimeter, area, symmetry, smoothness, compactness, and so on. So basically, here we are having two main classes that are specified in the dataset, that is benign and malignant. So what happens here? This dataset contains 569 instances, which consist 357 benign and 212 malignant. So now you might have a question that using this dataset, how can we analyze breast cancer, right? So what we are doing here, as I already told you, that breast cancer diagnosis using feature values calculated from digitized image of a fine needle aspirate or FNA of a breast mass. So this is a basic idea about breast cancer diagnostic dataset. So the next dataset we are having is MNIST dataset. So MNIST stands for Modified National Institute of Standard and Technology. So now coming to the MNIST dataset, this dataset is one of the most popular deep learning image classification dataset, which is built on handwritten data. Also, it contains of 6,000 instances for the training purpose and 1,000 instances for the model evaluation. It is a beginner-friendly dataset and doesn't require much time for pre-processing. So talking about this dataset, it helps to understand the techniques and the deep learning recognition pattern on real-world data. Also, the size of this dataset is around 50 MB. So this is the basic idea about MNIST dataset. So after understanding about MNIST dataset, now let's jump into the features. So as I already told you that MNIST dataset is one of the best dataset and it helps to understand machine learning techniques, and also it is very effective in the pattern recognition method in deep learning on real world data. Now talking about MNIST dataset, basically it is divided into two parts. First one is the training and the another part is the testing. So in this dataset, you don't need to split your data for training and evaluation part. The only thing that you have to do here is to build your own model using training and evaluate your model using testing. Also, this dataset consists of 4 types of files. The first one is the training images, then training labels, then we are having T10K images and T10K labels. Now, you might have a question, then what is the aim of this dataset? So as I already told you that MNIST dataset is built on handwritten data, right? So the aim is to classify a specified image of a handwritten digit into one of the 10 classes representing integer values from 0 to 9 inclusively. So this is a basic idea about the MNIST dataset. So the next dataset we are having is ImageNet dataset. So now coming to the ImageNet dataset, it's a very large dataset with size is around 150 GB. So basically it is an open source image database which was made by researchers, which consists of 1000 classes and has more than 1 million images. So you can use this dataset for machine learning purposes as well as in computer vision research. Also, as I already told you that this is a huge dataset, so it contains a large scale image dataset which is very beneficial for researchers. So this is a basic idea about ImageNet. So now coming to the features of ImageNet dataset, basically here each record consists of with bounding boxes and respective class labels. So what happens here, ImageNet provides 1000 images for each synset. So now you might have a question, what is synset here? So basically synset consists of multiple words or word phrase. So moving further, here URL of the image is given in the ImageNet. Also you can download this dataset from its official website. So as I already told you that because of its large scale image dataset, researchers use this dataset and it's very beneficial for them. So after getting idea about this dataset, now let's take an example where you can use this dataset. So basically here you can see the example recognizing a juice glass which is trained on ImageNet using CNN. So basically you can use this ImageNet dataset and you can train it using CNN, that is convolutional neural network, and you can recognize a juice glass. So this is the basic idea about the ImageNet dataset. So moving to the last dataset, we are having here COCO dataset. So COCO stands for Common Objects in Context. So talking about COCO dataset, it is a large scale object detection, segmentation and captioning dataset. Now, what do you mean by object detection? Object detection is useful in identifying objects in an image or video. Now, coming to the segmentation, it is basically, So now coming to the segmentation, it is basically an extension of object detection in which we mark the presence of an object through pixel-wise masks. Moving further, as this is a large dataset, so this dataset contains 1.5 million object instances for 80 object categories. So we are having different types of object categories that is present here. Also, in this dataset, annotations are stored in JSON file. So talking about annotations, here we are having 5 types of annotations: object detection, key point detection, stuff segmentation, panoptic segmentation, image captioning. So these are the 5 types of annotations. So after understanding what is COCO dataset, now let's jump into its features. So now coming to its features, the first feature that we are having is object segmentation along with the context recognition. Then I have already told you that in this dataset we are having 1.5 million object instances in 80 object categories. So now you might have a question when to use this dataset. So as I already told you that you can use this dataset for object detection. So basically what we are doing, we are using this dataset for object detection from the pre-trained COCO dataset classes by using the real-time deep learning algorithm. So this is the basic idea about the COCO dataset.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video any queries or suggestions, and I will also respond to your comments.